This is the Op-Ed Average podcast where we have lots of opinion, but most of them are pretty average. To our returning listeners, thank you for continuing to support us. If you're new here, we welcome you. First things first, I'm Anna.
And I'm Monica. On this week's episode, we're talking about everyone's favorite topic, finances.
Woo!
and,
Yay!
and some of you may have heard of this girl math. We have a couple of finance articles that we want to talk about, and we wanted to give you our opinions on them. At the end, we'll try and squeeze in a little bit of fun girl math. But honestly, the most exciting thing about this episode is that we have our very good friend Lisa joining.
Yay! Hi!
Yay!
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, this is actually our first.
Second? Oh, first guest of the year. First, yeah. Right?
Well, I guess the guys.
We'll know the guys, but they kind of don't count.
Yeah, but they're like different.
Yeah. Well, Lisa's fun.
But I'm me.
It's Lisa. And this is like her visual debut.
Oh, it is. I know. I was like,
It is. Don't know Lisa. Lisa is from our family podcast, or I guess I don't know what you call it now. I don't know.
girl, I don't know either.
They were previously part of the Average Magic podcast with Juan, but I think they're in the works of something new. So we all can't wait to see what that is.
Yes. We'll stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Juan already like said what it was. It's gonna be an average parenting, average parents podcast.
Aw, love it.
Excited.
He said it on the last Average Nerd podcast. I was like, yo, we didn't even record anything yet, but
well, now you're
Okay.
accountable, so we gotta content.
Yeah, now I'm like committed. We're committed now.
Can't wait for that. Let's see, what else are you gonna get into today?
So first off, I just want to say that even though this is about finance, it's going to be fun. We promise.
Boring snooze.
No, we're not going to teach you how to budget your money. We can't do that. But we'll have
we
some
can in a way.
In a way, we can. We can. Okay. So I think that's what we have. So let's get into it, guys.
Woo. Anna kind of came up with this topic. I didn't know that there was articles on finances, like the way that we talk about "Am I the asshole?" articles.
Yes. Yeah.
There's also articles on, how do I handle my financial decision or something like that.
So that's what I'm saying when I mean like it's not boring stuff. It's kind of I guess it's like very similar to Am I the Asshole, but just with like a financial twist.
Mhm.
So Mon, do you want me to start off with one of the articles that I have and then we'll discuss? Okay. So first off, I just wanted to mention to you guys. So most of the articles we're going to discuss come from this column called the Moneyist. There's this guy, I don't know his last name, but I know his first name is Quentin. I think he's British. And I just found out while doing my research today that he actually has a YouTube channel that he does really short, like 3-minute like articles. He'll read an article and then he'll say like what his opinion is on it or what his advice is. So he's basically like an advice columnist when it comes to finance, but it's really cool. It's not like boring stuff. So let me read out the first one and then we can discuss. Okay. So this was from his, and we'll link all this in our description. So I just basically like summarized what his first one was. So the first one was, Dear Moneyist, my boyfriend will be moving into my house soon. I pay $1,700 a month in mortgage, and my mortgage will be paid off in 2 years. So this is the girlfriend. He is currently paying $1,200 a month on his own for rent at his own apartment. He says that when he moves in, he only wants to pay $500 a month until the mortgage is paid off. And then he believes he shouldn't have to pay anything at all.
Oh.
Boom. First one. What are our thoughts on that? So let's do it like how we normally do it, Mon, where we'll give our opinions and then we'll read what Quentin has to say about it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let me know if you want me to go back on the details.
Yeah.
Was there any detail about like who makes more? I know that sometimes.
There wasn't anything on. That's what I was actually thinking of, because I know like sometimes when perhaps what people are making aren't even, of course, sometimes like
Yeah.
someone has to chip in more or whatever. But my thing is,
Mhm.
if he's already able to pay 1,200 on his own at his own apartment, then why can't he pay half of the 1,700, which is still way less than what he's paying? What is that, like 850? I'm not good at math.
Oh,
Wait, is that 850?
Yeah.
1,700? Yeah, it's 850.
Yeah.
Like it's still
Mhm.
a savings on his end, right?
Yeah,
Right.
like
Yeah.
$350.
Yeah.
Unless he's not wanting to commit to anything completely. I mean, he's committing some money, but I guess not
I think
a
it's just funny that
lot.
he's like, "This is what I'm paying you,"
Yeah,
Right.
and not, "Oh, I'm moving into your house. What do you think I should pay you?" You know what I
Oh,
mean?
maybe it's
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
just a roommate situation rather than
yeah.
a
It also
But
makes me
even when you're
wonder.
coming in as a roommate, you're not like, "I'm gonna give you $500 for this to live with you." You
Yeah.
know, like, you have to know
Who's
what the
calling the shots
like
here?
Yeah.
yeah,
And
like
I also wonder about like the state of their relationship. Like, is this guy just using you for money at this point? Like to get
Aw.
away with, not having to pay? But yeah, it's really hard. There's not much detail to it. It was like a
Mhm.
3-minute thing, but yeah. Have you guys ever been in that situation, or what would you do in that situation? You're like, hell no.
I would say, "Excuse me, whose house is this? I get where you're moving in with me, but sir, this is my house." And I'm assuming if her mortgage is gonna be paid off in 2 years, that means she's been paying on the house, so, like,
Yeah.
it's really her house that he's moving
Right,
into.
right.
Right.
It's not like they're married. They're,
Right.
like, still boyfriend, girlfriend, so
Mhm.
it's like, it's not your house when you move in, it's hers. That's my opinion.
So in that sense, would she treat him more like a roommate? Because if it's still her house and it's just her name on, the papers that I mean, she should be calling the shots like a landlord, but because he's
I think so.
not on the papers, it's like you really don't have any say on how the
I think
payment
Yeah.
so.
goes.
I think so, hell
That's
yeah.
an interesting situation to be in because, yeah, he
Yeah.
could be taking advantage of the fact that, yeah, she only has 2 more years
Which is
before she's
in
fully paid off.
good for her.
Yeah, go
Yeah, dude,
her.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. This has gotta be like in like Kentucky or something.
Right? I was like, "Is this
Sorry.
in America?"
Do we have any listeners in Kentucky? I'm sorry if
And I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
They
But,
ain't
like,
from the Bay for sure.
it also how sometimes, like I know for sure, that's
No,
not even, like, rent. Like,
no.
no
No,
way, that's not
For
even
a
no.
rent.
house?
But,
No
yeah.
way.
You know how sometimes, like, when people live separately and they're gonna move in together, they end up getting a place of their own together, so there's
Mhm.
not this, like, "Oh, it's her place," or "It's his bachelor pad, and then I'm moving into it." But dang, if you're only 2 years away from, being I would be like, "I'm not moving," like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's such a big
totally.
deal. But alright,
That's
so
probably gonna be a really good conversation for the relationship.
yes, yes. Okay, you guys, I'll tell you what, Quentin said, and then we could Mon, you have articles, right? So
Yeah.
we can okay, so Quentin's answer is that, the boyfriend should pay half of the mortgage or whatever the market rate is for rent, whichever is lowest, until it's paid off. From there, he should still be paying an agreed upon amount for utilities, taxes, insurance, etc. Because just because your mortgage is paid off doesn't mean the taxes stop, or you're still paying insurance and all of that kind of stuff. So that was his advice.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, Quentin. I agree.
Yes.
The guy knows what he's talking about.
That's
I
why
was
he's
gonna say
doing this.
something similar, but I was like, maybe that's too, like, emotionless. But no,
I
that's
think that's the
exactly what I would've
point. Like you
said.
have to like find,
Strictly
when it
money.
yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
about, otherwise it's going to destroy you guys.
Well, yeah, that's like one of the biggest things for like relationships, right? Is talking about finances.
Yeah.
And, moving in is already one thing, but if you're moving into just an apartment where it's not like too
A big
concrete.
commitment. Yeah, yeah.
But this lady's got an investment going on and she's inviting someone into that space. And yeah, you gotta talk about that or else you're not going to be living there for too long. We're adults.
I just think it's so weird that he was like, "I'm gonna pay you this much." Like, boy, where'd
Yeah.
you get that? Where'd you get that dollar
Where'd you
amount
get that
from,
idea?
sir?
Yeah.
Finances are hard though when it comes to couples, especially when you're not married and you're not like legally tied to a person and then things go south. Like I've actually like seen that and it's really difficult and rough. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's even hard, even as a married person. It's just hard.
it's
Period.
hard. Yeah. You don't have to tell
Yeah,
me twice.
yeah, it's hard.
I'll
We're all
cut this
married here.
I'll cut
And
this
then we're
part.
We
married to
understand.
collectors. Jesus,
Oh God.
I'm just kidding.
We love you guys. If you're listening, I don't know.
Ooh, Lisa has a fancy Stanley.
Oh,
Oh.
it's the dupe. It's a
Oh,
it's a simple modern, but I like
we
it
have-
better.
could have fooled me.
I have the Awala.
Oh, voila. What do you have, Anna?
Yeah.
An Amazon one, but I've had it for like
Kirkland
over a
signature.
year.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I've had
nice.
it for a year and it works really. I bought it for Japan and I've been using it.
There
What
you
is it?
go.
It's called Hydrocell. I just bought it on Amazon.
Oh, oh, it looks
Like,
like
what
a
do they
I
do?
hydro
remember
flask.
that thing.
Like-
I'm just-
Oh, hella
We're gonna do that eventually in one of these episodes. I don't know. Okay, shall we move on to the next article?
Yep.
I found out that me looking for these articles, I'm not subscribed to MarketWatch.
Yeah.
So
So
they
you're
don't give me
limited.
the
Yeah.
entire thing. So I did link
free
all
trial?
of these
Oh.
and no, they don't give you a free trial. It's 50 cents for a year.
Oh, damn,
Forget
that's hella
that.
cheap though. Can we get that
Almost-
expensed?
we don't have
We don't have any funding at this point. We're self-supporting.
We're not sponsored by Beehive? Come on.
No,
MarketWatch if you want to sponsor.
I know.
50 cents a week. Oh, 50 cents a week for a year.
Oh shoot. Yeah.
I thought it was like
Yeah,
50
that's
cents for
too
the
much.
year. That's expensive.
Trying to bamboozle me.
I know. What the heck?
They're like, you're looking at a finance article. You should know math.
I have
Yeah.
a couple more if you guys want.
Yeah, let's
Like,
go with yours.
we
Just
can-
because
Mine are quick. Mine because, and then I have a doozy of one that I'll do at the very end. That'll be our
Okay.
grand finale. Okay. Our next article is my husband's mother opened up 6 credit cards and racked up about $50,000 in debt in his name without his knowledge. She's a wonderful woman. I don't know why she's saying that, but just incredibly fiscally irresponsible. And since
Oh.
he is her son, she didn't think he was doing anything wrong. So the mom didn't think she was doing anything wrong. We don't want to press charges for fraud, but several financial advisors are pressing that it's the only financial recourse we have. Otherwise, my husband is responsible for this debt, and if she doesn't pay for it. Are you guys okay over there?
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at the situation. That's insane.
No, it's yeah,
that's freaking crazy.
Wait, how many credit cards?
6 credit cards, $50,000 worth of debt. I know. She's subscribing to the Moneyist. That's what she bought.
Bro.
And 5 billion other things.
Yeah.
So they're still on good terms with the mom?
Yeah. So that's part of like Quentin's response. But you guys, like, have you guys seen this? I've heard about stuff like this, like with other people. Like it's not like
Yeah,
Not
I've
that I
definitely.
know of.
I
I have
guess.
I've
I've seen this
definitely
in
seen
real
this.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not to this extreme,
Mhm.
but you know, like I think like I've heard of this or that type of thing. So are we just speechless at this point?
No, I'm like trying to think what I can share.
I don't even know what to say about this.
It's a
Oh.
mess. It's so messy, and it's like I wonder if it's like because in the Filipino family, it's like there's this saying like what's yours is mine, or like
Sheesh.
Utang
Oh,
na loob or something like that.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've heard of that term before. What does it mean? Like, it's
It's
like I owe
debt.
you. Is it like I owe you my
Yeah,
lifetime?
something like that. And
Yeah.
it's like your parents or your elders just feel like you owe it to them because
Because
they
they
helped
Yeah.
raised
raise
Yeah.
you.
you or what have
Dude,
you.
we're bordering on generational trauma.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that topic at this
which
point,
was
but
the original.
the original topic. But
Um, but
like
right?
I've seen this, but it wasn't like it was like I'm just like you, Lisa. I need to like word it in a way where it's not you, regardless of who it is,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
It's not you that's
yeah.
doing it. So, Mon, have you ever heard of this or heard anyone? She's like, oh God.
Who would do this?
Not
Mon
to like
comes from a
this
good
extent.
family.
No, I think we just weren't very vocal about finances, like
Mm,
with either like with our family or extended family. So I didn't really know what kind of issues there were or possible. I mean, it's possible that there's stuff going
Stuff
on
that
in
happened.
parts of
Yeah.
my family that I don't know about, but I can't imagine that situation happening in my family. If it has happened, I don't know about it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
There's even something that I've heard of where it's like, you remember, I don't even know if this happens anymore, but like years and years ago, credit cards would send blank checks in the mail. Do you guys remember that? It was
yes.
like they would send blank
Yep.
checks and it was like you could cash it, but it went towards your debt. They weren't just
Uh-huh.
like blank checks or whatever. And I
Mhm.
think like I know someone stole their checks, like, someone they knew stole their checks, used it, and then
Wow.
Oh,
yeah. It's like same thing pretty much.
it boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what does Quentin say?
Okay, Quentin says I like what he says.
Quentin says,
He says, yeah, he says, no one opens a credit card account without knowing what they're doing.
Mhm.
Call the credit card company and tell them these cards were not yours and file a police report. If not, your credit card will suffer. And since you are aware of the debt, you could be held responsible. And then admit to yourself that your mother-in-law is a fraudster.
Damn.
Okay.
He's
I
so
have
direct. I love him.
I know. I'll send it to you, Lisa. I feel like
Yeah.
you'd get a kick. And for those that don't know, like one of the reasons we wanted Lisa on this episode is Lisa's in finance. So she knows
Yeah.
she is in charge of this is
Yeah.
off topic, but like when we go on trips, she created like a spreadsheet for us for like cost and breakdown and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And we use it like every trip. Like we like
Mhm.
it was like a couple years ago that she created it and we copy it and use it. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
super
So
helpful.
that's why. Oh, so this one's kind of similar, not a trip, but like, okay, this one's a funny one, but I think you guys will get a kick out of it. Okay. All right. So the third article I have is this guy said, Dear Quentin, I went golfing with a friend at a golf club, which charges $3 per person. I have no clue where they would only charge $3 per person, but the golf club that they went to forgot to charge me. So the guy went with his buddy, he didn't get charged. After the game was finished and we went our separate ways, I got a text from my golf partner saying I owed him $1.50 because he paid for his share. He said he was going on vacation and asked me to be paid via Venmo. I sent him the $1.50 he requested, but feel like the request was rude and small-minded. Am I being too sensitive and should I play with him again?
Oh my god.
How old are these people?
And where
Oh
can
my
you play
god.
a round of golf for $3? Like, is it mini
Mini
golf?
golf?
That's so cute. It's like
Yeah,
must be for $1.50. Should I still
Yes.
play with him? Oh my gosh.
You owe
That is
me $1.50.
That's so cute.
But I don't think they're
Venmo.
kids. I don't think they're kids. I think
I'm
they're
I mean, I'm sure.
yeah.
You can imagine just like elementary school kids are like, we played Mexican Candia and you owe me.
I don't even think Scandia is $1.50 or $3.
For
No
mini golf.
way.
Scandy is like a mini golf thing. I don't know if
Oh yeah,
anyone
for
has
those
it
Yeah, for
that
here.
those
are not in
not from
the
the
Bay
Bay.
Area. Yeah.
But
I don't think
Hey-
it was rude. I think it was like,
how are you small-minded for asking that?
Wait,
yeah.
What does
so
that
do you
mean?
guys think it's right for him to ask?
Oh, I personally would have not cared. Like, I would have just paid the 150.
Mm-hmm.
But if the guy really needs $1.50, like,
That's true.
I'm not gonna be mad. Like, all right, dude, you covered for me.
I
But
guess
he
it
didn't
depends.
though. Okay, sorry, Mon, go.
It depends on like I guess how close they are in friendship. Because if like if they're cool with each other, then yeah, $1.50 is like, oh, that's weird, but whatever, here you go. But if it's like, hey, I met you once or twice before playing golf, and we're penny pinching like every single expense.
Literally,
This isn't just like
literally.
It's 6 quarters.
we're having lunch and you owe me this part of the bill. We're talking about $1.50. That's like, hey, we actually did pay for 3 or whatever, and next time we hang out, just spot me the $1.50.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, something like that.
But
Yeah.
if the dude is like hanging on by like penny by penny,
Yeah. Maybe
mean,
he
who's
really
to
needs
judge?
$1.50. Yeah.
I
That's true. That's a
maybe you
different
shouldn't be
take on it.
golfing for $3.
That's true.
Yeah, that's too
So
pricey.
Quentin's thing is that the golf fee is $3 a person. It's not the guy's fault that he didn't get charged, and it's none of the friends' business that he didn't get charged. So he doesn't feel like he's being too sensitive and said, "Don't play with him again."
Oh,
So it's kind of just
interesting.
like, like your share is this much. Yours didn't get charged, then that's not anyone's business.
Oh, I think I misunderstood. So he thought he owed him 150 because okay, I think I get it now.
They're just splitting the
Yeah.
cost for one person.
Yeah, you're
One
splitting it, but
person
it's like,
because
well,
they accidentally didn't charge the person that wrote in. So it's
okay, that's
basically
funny.
like he's just asking him to like share his thing or whatever
You're right.
because he
Okay.
paid. So it's a little different, right?
That is different. Okay, I
Yeah.
would not ask for the I would not split it. Like, I would be
So
like,
if
damn,
someone
that sucks. That sucks that I
No,
got
but if someone
charged.
asked you for like the $1.50 when they got charged and you didn't,
I
how
would
would
just
you
give
react?
it.
What would
I
you say?
would give it,
I would
but
give it.
I would give it, but I would never forget it.
I never play with him ever again.
If
But, like,
they're asking
also
about $1.50, who knows what they're gonna ask for down the line?
Yeah. So like Quentin said, like there's this, he brought up this thing, it's like an unwritten like friend contract, like includes paying each other back correctly and in a timely manner. Whenever you guys, we do that. I mean, we go out to eat and all that stuff all the time, and everyone's great at like Venmoing and all that stuff. But he said, if your friend is getting, he said it, ants in your pants over $1.50, it's probably not somebody you want to like share too much with.
How old
Because
is
that's
Quentin?
fun.
I know he's funny. I mean,
Ants
he's
in your
probably
pants.
like, I would probably say he's at least like, I don't, you guys' age for sure. At least that. So yeah.
I don't know
All
anyone
right.
in our age who says ants in their pants.
I love that. Ants in your pants.
Is that what
I
it
know.
is? Ants?
I think he's British, to be honest. That might
Yeah.
be why.
Okay. They
That
might
might
have
be
different lingo
why.
out there.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna have to reread these with the British accent then.
Oh, yeah.
Could you?
Okay.
Just kidding.
Okay, guys. Okay, I have one more. This one. Wait, hold on.
This
This
the
one's
one? The finale.
the finale, the grand.
Ooh.
Okay, so this one is actually Am I the Asshole? But it has a
Ooh.
financial twist. And this one's I actually sent this to Mon long time ago, maybe when we first started the podcast, and I was like, we should
Oh.
discuss this at one point. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this
I
one
think
is
I've read it.
long, but it's super interesting. Okay, ready, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Me and my husband got married when we were 25. After 6 years of being married, he passed away in an accident. A few weeks before his accident, I found out he had a one-night stand with a woman who he works with. When he died, I hadn't decided yet what was going to happen in our relationship. We entered counseling and we're still living together, but obviously it was hectic. As I wasn't sure if we were going to divorce, I decided not to tell our families and only confided in a few close friends and my therapist. I didn't want opinions from everyone. I also didn't tell his family when he died. There was no reason to. So a few weeks ago, the woman he had an affair with reached out to me. She's 5 months pregnant and preparing to raise the baby. It's his kid, her husband's kid. She wanted me to tell his family because she wants her child to have a relationship with his family and be connected to his culture. I said I wouldn't do this and simply passed along their contact information. Shit hit the fan. I'm close with his brothers, and I thought that they were going to raise him from the dead and kill him again. Apologies for the dark humor, she says. They're coming around to the idea of having a relationship with the baby, but I do not want to. Um, she said, the mother has gotten back in touch with me and is asking for some of my husband's possessions. She wants his clothes, his books, his record collection, and bizarrely, his wedding ring for the baby to feel connected to its father. I've made it very clear to her that I will not be giving her anything of the sort. His parents and brothers have some of his stuff and she can access things like that through them. She kept pushing and I lost my temper and called her an outrageous bitch who should find some shame. Let's see.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
I wouldn't be opposed to passing some stuff along with the child for the child via my in-laws when they're older and can appreciate it, not the wedding ring, which is the worst request. I've also retained a lawyer to look into whether I owe the child any money legally for my husband's passing. If I don't, I may set up a trust for them when they're an adult with his money because I really don't need it. And that just seems fair. I just don't want to give this woman all that I have left of my husband. I really don't trust her with it. My in-laws are getting a paternity test when the baby is born. This was the first thing that they asked. However, the scans and due date line up perfectly to the affair. So I don't have any doubts that it's his child. So basically, she's asking if she's an asshole for feeling this way, for not wanting to give the child her husband's possessions.
No.
I'm gonna say no.
I
No way.
Why would she be the asshole for these people who she doesn't know who also had an affair with her husband? I mean, her husband is also at fault too, obviously. But after passing away, like, I don't know why she feels entitled to any of that stuff. I understand for the baby's sake and to be connected to his or her father. But why do you need the wedding ring?
That is weird. Like, why would you ask? Like, I wouldn't even like, I don't
I
know.
wouldn't even think to ask that.
Yeah. I feel like there has to be some kind of underlying like reason there. Like it's not just uh for my kid, my unborn child to feel connected to their biological father who is now passed away before they can even see them. I mean,
Yeah.
I can understand clothes, other stuff, but something that belonged for a different marriage?
Right, right.
Why do you have any entitlement over that? Like, I don't understand. Um,
Do they
That's
have
great.
kids of their own?
It doesn't sound like it. It
Okay.
doesn't
Right.
sound like they had kids of their own. They seem like they were pretty young. Like if they got married at
At
25 and they were,
25.
married for 6 years. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's really generous and thoughtful of her to set up a trust for the kid.
Right,
I
yeah.
She
agree.
does
That's
not have to
huge.
do that at all.
Right.
And I think if I was the other woman, I would be thankful for that
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
leave it be. And I think you said something like, "Oh, she wants the baby to know the father's culture." You could do that without the father's stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you know what they are culturally, then you could expose them to that without them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Oh
they're
god.
also reaching out to the family? right? Is that what
Mhm.
I'm hearing? Is that they
They're
also want
reaching
to be
out
close
to
to the
yeah.
family?
So I have an opinion on that. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like I feel like it must have been devastating for their family, of course, to
Of
lose
course.
their son and their brother or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, at like 30, you were probably assuming he was like in his early 30s.
Mhm.
So I think that if that were me, like as a parent or whatever, you're gonna try and latch on to anything that they left behind. Like, I
Mhm.
know that personally. But
Yeah.
it's like there's this kid that's your grandchild, no matter what your son did, that so I don't doubt that they want a relationship with a kid. Like, that I actually think that that's probably very reasonable. And it's probably like even a blessing for his parents, even though, it was like rough circumstances and stuff like that. It's just like there's a piece of your son that's left here, even though you've lost him, which is
Mhm.
pretty amazing. But I think the possessions is just like why? Like, it has nothing to do with anything. And I just think like I it also made me wonder if that kid is entitled to anything. I
Right.
don't think so. I don't believe so because the husband died and his wife is his like next of kin or probably his beneficiary for all of
Right.
his, finances and all that stuff. So I don't
Mhm.
think the kid gets any of that. But I read this like a really long time ago and it stuck with me because I thought it was just so bizarre.
Yeah.
I
That's
like oh,
crazy. No, no.
yeah.
It's crazy. That's all I got to say.
I like that you brought up the benefit for the husband's family to have a relationship with the
Mhm.
kid. Um, and I think that's beautiful if they decide that that's
Right.
what they wanna do, right? I
Mhm.
think it's fair for the wife, though, to step out of that completely
Yeah,
because,
Agree.
absolutely.
oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh, that kid has, technically nothing to do with her, and
Mhm.
if anything, might be just a painful reminder of the tumultuous relationship that was her
Yeah.
marriage before her husband died, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or maybe
I think
even if like something like she wanted to have a kid and they were
right.
never able to. And here is
Oh,
this like, sorry to say, but like a rando that just
yeah,
shows up with with a kid
Mhm.
that you were never able to have with your husband. That's super
Right.
painful.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so to ask for things like his wedding ring
Yeah, that
and
makes no sense.
possessions, like, that's not fair, like, that should be yours,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
feel like that's
gosh.
overstepping a boundary that I you're completely out of the circle and to, approach her with like we have this kid, your husband had this kid, and you owe it to this baby that you don't know or didn't give
Right.
birth to
Right.
remind him or her of their father. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just a really weird personal request that
That's
I think you should be
ballsy.
happy with, like, just sharing the family,
Yeah.
um, and then, yeah, leaving her out of it because you essentially, encroached on their relationship, so, um
Yeah, it's a crazy one. I hope that the woman or the person that like wrote in, like it seems like they're young, like they can move on from this and start over and find someone new and all that kind of stuff. I also kind of this is like off topic, but like how crazy is that you're that probably raging at your husband and then like so pissed off about his actions and all this kind of stuff, and then he dies and it's just like you're supposed to mourn and be sad. Of course, I'm sure she is, but it's just like it's such a
All the
weird
emotions,
yeah,
yeah.
Right.
all the emotions. It's just like,
Mhm.
yeah. I just thought that that was just such a wild story. So,
Yeah.
Do you guys
yeah.
watch that show? It's, like, from the writers of Ted Lasso. Dang it. What's the name of it? I have to look it up. But it's with Jason Segel. Segel?
Oh, I know what show you're talking about, but I have never I
Which
know what
one
you're
is
talking
it?
about, but I haven't seen it.
Shoot. He's a therapist, but basically the story is, his wife, passed away, so it's him, like, trying to cope with his grief and stuff, but, like, throughout the season, like, slight spoiler, but, like, you could see that their marriage wasn't perfect, um,
Mm.
but he's still grieving her, so he still, like, misses her even though that
Right.
even though that the last few moments of their marriage were like fights and
Right.
complications, it's that just reminded me of what you were talking about, because it's not like it's one thing to be in a super happy marriage and your significant other passes away,
Hmm.
and it's another to be in a tumultuous relationship and to have that pass away, because then it's like all these fights that you were in the middle of that you didn't
Yeah,
finish
aren't
or
resolved.
something.
Yeah,
Right,
you have
exactly.
no
Yeah.
closure.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
also think about like how she said in this article that like no one in her family or in their family knew what happened. So like if she
Right.
was like, there's no way to grieve properly, but you know what I'm saying? Like people want, like, why isn't she sad? Or why isn't she sad enough or whatever? But they have no idea like what was going on, in their relationship before
Hmm.
he passed and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's
Yeah,
super hurtful even for his family to find out what he did like
Right.
after the fact.
totally.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Mon, shall we lighten things up with girl math? It's getting rough
Yeah.
Going on from
Let's
death.
yeah. Let,
from
let's
this.
let's move on from death and move on to debt.
Yeah. How jovial.
We're so
Fun
fun. This
death.
is gonna be a
Yeah.
fun episode.
Yeah. 0 listeners, 0 views.
Okay. Well, let's bring it back with
Okay.
girl math. So
Yeah.
after all of this talk of money and kind of budgeting and stuff, I thought it'd be fun to do some girl math. If you don't know what girl math is, it's basically this viral concept of justifying spending habits. We all do this, girls and guys alike. I mean, even though we call it girl math, we've just, voiced this out as girls, but I'm sure guys do it too.
Yeah.
Um,
For sure.
this has been made widely popular by a radio show. At least that's how I discovered the idea of girl math. It's a radio show called ZM 6 to 9 with Fletch, Fawn, and Haley. We'll link them down below.
Oh, I didn't
You've
know
probably
that.
seen them in TikTok if you're on TikTok.
Are they from New Zealand?
I think so. Yeah.
Or like Australia? Okay,
Oh.
that's what I hear in my
You
head. I hear them
you
go,
probably
"Girl math, girl math,
girl math.
girl
Girl
math,"
math.
but in their accent,
Their
Yeah.
accents.
girl math.
They're hilarious. You should listen to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have this segment during their radio show where they discuss recent expenses or even people who call in who ask for help to justify an expense.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
So, in the general sense, before we go into what they talk about, there is a general running list of rules or guidelines for girl math. They're a little bit far-fetched, but stick with me. Let me know if some of these sound like something that you've thought in your head when you need to justify an expense. So, one of the rules or guidelines, if you return an item, you're actually making money.
It
So
depends.
yeah. It's like, oh, well, I spent money on a very expensive thing and I don't want it. Well, guess what? That money's coming back in my pocket and I actually gained money.
It actually feels really good to return and get money back though, for sure.
No,
For
you're
sure.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
truly. Yeah.
Another thing is buying nice things is an investment it's an investment in yourself, in myself, or whatever. Like, this is an really huge expense, but it's gonna make my life better. It's gonna make me as a person feel better, and then in turn, I'm contributing to the world a better person for it. So totally
That's
fine as an
new.
investment. Another one is if I go shopping, but I don't buy anything that day, my budget for tomorrow has doubled.
Oh.
I like that.
I didn't spend my money today, so I was good. Now I can spend that money tomorrow, in addition to what I would have spent tomorrow. So,
I like that.
if I pay with cash, it's basically free because I already had that physical money to spend on something else anyway. Uh,
Wow, I haven't heard of these. These are good.
if I see something on sale but I don't buy it, I'm actually losing money because I could have saved so much more if I bought it. Uh,
That's
and
funny.
then another one, let's face it, traveling is expensive, but I bought my tickets. Let's say if you bought plane tickets, I bought my tickets months ago because you want to plan, you want to buy it ahead. I bought them so long ago that by the time that I'm going on my trip, it's basically free because I have already spent that money. And by the time that I go on my trip, I don't have to worry about buying that ticket. I'm sure the way that I'm explaining it, it doesn't sound as convincing.
I feel
But
like if you buy the tickets, many people like use credit cards to like, pay for trips and stuff like that.
mhm.
I feel like if you paid it off by the time you leave for your trip, then it's a free trip. I agree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
It totally
Lisa's
feels
like,
like it. No,
Lisa,
it feels
our
like it,
financial
for sure.
person, is like, what are these
She's
girls
like,
talking
No,
about?
no, I'm the worst, actually. I'm the worst. It totally feels free.
Well,
That's so
so
funny.
now that we have our guidelines, let's do our own girl math, shall we?
Wait, can I add one more? The
Oh, sure,
only
sure,
one
sure.
that I know, this is the only one that I knew about girl math,
Mhm.
is I know, Mon, we've talked about this before, but cost per wear. That
Oh,
one,
yeah.
right?
yes,
So
yes.
that one is like, say you buy like $1,000 handbag and you wear it 100 times, then you only paid is that $10? Right?
I don't
Is that
know.
the math?
No.
$10 per wear. Are you calculating
Yeah.
at least?
Yeah. Well, just to make sure. It's late,
I'm
y'all.
really bad at math.
It's late, y'all.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
that's
like,
$10.
hey, it only
$10 a
costs you,
wear.
yeah, $10 a wear, therefore it's okay. And if only we can find handbags for $1,000 these
First of
days.
all, I know.
Jesus Christ. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have to wear mine for like hella days.
I
But
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a real one though. Cost per wear. That's
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
I've
think
heard
about
of.
that a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, our own girl math, the OA edition. um,
Girl math. Girl math.
girl math. Girl math. That's not our song. It's on
No,
a
it's not.
radio
It's
show.
theirs. It's theirs.
And also, big disclaimer: we are not responsible for any purchases that we may have influenced you to buy.
Yes.
Please be responsible for your money.
I'm
This is
not
just
telling
We
you
fun.
love
guys
the
to buy
disclaimer.
expensive bags.
Yeah,
We
we're
will
just
we will
having
enable you. Straight up.
um, so I thought a fun one to discuss is we've talked about this several times now. We're gonna go on a cruise together, and cruises are not cheap. So how would you justify this trip? Or what are some things that you would use to justify this
I'll
trip to
tell
make it easier on yourself?
I'll tell you what we tell ourselves every day is
We deserve it.
also Juan and I have used and we say this all the time. We are Disney Vacation Club members,
Mhm.
and we've used our points for the cruise. And girl math means we got the cruise for free.
Hey. Easy.
That's how I justified it. It was like no cost.
Yeah,
It sounds like
you
a
already
great
had
time.
you already had the points.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
gonna use
Yeah.
it on
Yeah.
Disneyland or the cruise anyways, not on Disneyland, but the
Yeah.
hotel. And honestly, I've been wanting to go on a Disney cruise for like 4 years at this point.
Mhm.
Like the first time we tried to go was 2020.
Yeah.
And then we know what happened in 2020. And then we tried to go again, and then I got freaking pregnant. And so now
Well,
I am
Damn
not pregnant and
pregnancy.
we are going.
Yes. You know what I was telling Lisa, the other day? I
Mm.
was saying that it was like although the hurricane, we'll talk about it. We always leave little tidbits, but basically our second cruise was canceled. Our cruise was canceled because there was a hurricane. Lisa and Juan weren't with us because Lisa was pregnant. But I was telling him the other day that it was almost meant to happen so that you guys could come with us this time
Aw,
around. So
Mhm.
I
we're
think so
happy about that.
too.
I have no justification for this cruise, to be honest with you, because so we're going on a Disney cruise. Disney is pretty much known to be, if not the most expensive, like a very expensive cruise line, like compared to like Carnival or Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Some of the Royal Caribbean's very expensive now because of the new ships and stuff. But
Mhm.
I'm doing this because I love my friends and we planned this a really long time ago and it feels like a
Yes.
redemption trip for us. But it's also, it's basically like we got so screwed over last time that I swear to God, if we don't go this time, I
We're
don't know
going.
what's gonna happen.
We're not
It's
going
gonna
to any of that
happen.
negative energy
Yes.
out there.
Yeah,
We're
get that
like-
out of here.
I think we're like 7 weeks away at this point, right? So and it's
Whoa,
not
we're
hurricane
close.
season. Yeah,
Counting
we're
down.
close. So I can't really justify this trip. Besides, I just want to spend time with my friends.
That's a good justification. We are
Yeah, that
priceless.
Yes, you are.
Well, for those of us who don't have the vacation club membership, I'm using some of our guidelines to be like, we booked this months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago. So we already paid for it. It's done. I've still earned money since then. So virtually, once we get on that ship, it's free.
Ooh, I
You
have
know?
another one. I have another justification for you. We
Okay.
got a discount on this
Yes.
cruise.
Oh yeah,
We
you
would be
guys
we
losing
got-
did.
money
yeah,
if we
didn't
did not use
go.
this discount.
Yes, so we
Yeah, that would be a waste.
because we got canceled. Disney gave us, how much did we get? Like 20%?
20%.
20% off this cruise. And we're
A
like,
lot.
God damn it, we're not letting that 20% go to waste. So that's another thing. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a good
that's
one.
justification. Yeah.
Yes. Another thing, as we're preparing for this trip, there's a lot of pre-check-in stuff for the trip. So it's asking if we want to prepay our tips. So you could also do that. You could prepay your tips ahead of time so that when you get on the ship, you don't have to worry about, spending the money. You already have a money set aside that you spent already, and it's free when you go on there.
You tipped
Wait,
already.
did you do that? Did you guys do that?
We were about to. I don't know. We might still just bring cash, but
Yeah,
that's an option.
that is an option.
I think they
Um,
actually, don't they charge your card automatically at the end?
Probably. I think they give you like an invoice on the
Oh, okay.
second to last day before you get off the
Leave.
boat, so that they know
Mhm.
what you're getting charged.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's for like future us to worry about. You know?
Yeah.
yeah,
And we're gonna get such great service. It's not gonna feel like
Yes,
it's anything.
the Disney. It's the Disney
Yes.
touch.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, because it's a cruise and it's Disney, it's an all-inclusive-ish
Yeah.
cruise.
Free.
So however much we did spend on it, you could totally make all of that back by
Yes.
eating
Your way
everything.
through.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
You eat
And
everything.
we
You
have
could probably eat more.
Yeah, and we have Dave with us, and Dave
have Dave.
refuses to waste any food. So
That's true.
we'll definitely be getting our money
We'll
back on
be
the food.
that table who is ordering multiple dishes per person. So I'm pretty
Gotta make our
confident that we
money's
could
worth.
make. Yeah, exactly.
We'll do it.
Yeah. Another one is we're planning to go the day before to Florida before we go on our cruise, just so we're not
We're not
late.
missing the damn shit.
But there's how many of us? 8 of us,
Yeah, there's 8
Yeah.
of us.
and there we're only splitting 2 rooms, and so between like 8 people, that's like
Yeah, free.
like 100. Well, I don't even know how much this is. I think it was like $50. I don't know per person, and that's super cheap. I don't know.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Have you guys seen the stuff on like whenever a girl goes on a vacation, we have to do all this stuff and spend all this money preparing for the vacation. Like you need a new haircut, or like you
I've
Oh,
seen that.
style your
Yeah.
hair, you have to get a pedicure, you have to get your brows done, you have to get
Waxing.
your
Yeah.
you have to get your
Everything.
lashes and all that stuff. So by the time you leave, you're already a couple hundred, and then we have to buy clothes for it too, right?
Right.
I
you
mean,
Yeah.
don't have to, but you're
I still,
investing in
yeah,
yourself.
yourself.
It's
Yeah,
not
you're
like you're
investing in
just
yourself.
buying it for the
Yeah.
trip.
Oh
Cost
my
per
God.
wear.
I still have my clothes from the last time that we went that I put aside because I'm like, when am I ever gonna wear this shit?
Right.
So I'm good on clothes, I think, for the most part.
Right. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's a lot of pre-trip
Primping,
stuff.
yeah.
But if
Yeah.
we want to talk about nails, you want to talk about, I don't know, I don't really get my nails done. So what's like an average amount, Lisa?
I don't get my nails
Ugh.
done either.
I actually stopped because it was so expensive. Well, I still do pedicures because
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
like
Same.
non-negotiable for me.
For sure.
But I started doing I don't know. I'll show the
Gel.
camera.
Ooh.
I started doing
Ooh.
press-ons.
Oh,
These
cute.
are
I
like
love press-ons.
$15.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a
cute.
press-on
I
girly
never
now.
know.
Hey.
Never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you couldn't tell if it's like salon or
Yeah.
not.
Super
They look
cute.
great.
Super cute. Yeah.
So these are like $15 a set
Okay.
if you do
But
press-on.
$15 a set, you got
And
10
you could
fingers.
probably reuse them. Yeah.
So
right.
it's
You got 10 fingers.
$1.50 a finger, and how long do they
$1.50.
last? So it's practically free.
And then
Yeah,
however
free.
long they last, if you get a really good glue, they last for a
Right.
really long time. So that's cost per day. So it's like
Ooh.
pennies on the dollar for
Yeah.
a per finger.
Girl math.
Yeah.
Girl math. Yeah, all of that stuff, doing your hair, that's not just for the trip, but you're gonna have
Yeah.
amazing
That's
photos
true.
and many memories that you can look at
Yeah.
for years.
Are you guys
Clothes
gonna get your
were
hair done?
No.
No. Lisa's like,
I just
not
cut
it.
my own hair. I
I want
haven't
you.
been to a salon in forever.
I actually want you to cut my hair.
Your hair. If you trust me, I will cut your hair.
Yes,
We will save.
the girl
don't
that
know
I
how much
go
money.
to, if you tell her to cut like 2 inches, she'll cut off 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. I just can't go back to her
Why?
at this point. That's yeah.
That's
Okay.
dramatic.
Off topic. We'll talk about
Okay.
this at a later time, but yeah.
Right.
Maybe I'll
Next
show off my
episode,
new
Monica cuts
Monica.
Hannah's hair.
Yeah.
Bonus content.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
So that's all pretty much I had for the Disney cruise. Should we try and like, is there something that you guys really want to buy, but you haven't bought yet because you're kind of like a little bit iffy on, how much it costs or whatever? Is there anything that you guys want to buy that we could possibly help you girl math so that it is a doable thing?
I think I've come to my senses this year. And like I have enough for I mean we all, like I think everyone that listens or watches, you guys can see behind me, and people that know me know that like handbags are like my kind of like my passion. I love them, but I think I've really like calmed down with them. The prices have like skyrocketed. Like Lisa, our Chanel bag
I
is
saw that.
almost $12,000 now
Yeah, that's insane.
pre-tax. Like, I mean, come on. Like that's like a used
Pre-tax?
car. Pre-tax,
Yeah.
$11,700 pre-tax. So
That's
for
crazy.
me, I'm actually just focusing on, kind of just saving, and we've got, our cruise, and we may go on a big trip at the end of the year, and just kind of doing that kind of stuff. But no, I don't really think of course there's stuff I want to buy, but I won't buy it. Lisa.
Okay. No.
Next time I see you.
So one of my is it a habit? So something I do to try and prevent myself from spontaneously buying something is I write it down. So I have a wants list on my phone,
Ooh.
and then I like don't let myself, basically it has to sit on the list for like, I don't know, like a month. And then by the time a month happens, I'm like, okay, I could wait longer, or I could do without for a little bit longer. So I'm like looking at my wants list, and it's all just kind of like random like things. I don't know what I should bring up.
Something luxurious.
Something
It doesn't have to
fun.
be like luxurious. That would be like the easier thing to. But if there's like something like one of the examples that the radio show does is like they wanted to invest in some really good linens for their bed, but we're talking
Ooh.
like premium cotton thread count whatever, and so I think it was like $800 I think
Ooh.
for the thing, and people were like, you would have spent $800? Like wait, $800 for premium sheets, so that's already something, but it's gonna be like it's gonna last for a very long time. If you're sharing a bed with a partner, that's for 2 people. It's not just for one.
That's true.
And
That's
for
true.
every thread count that is per however much, I don't know how
Right.
many threads time divided by the
Per thread.
800, and you're basically paying how many per thread count, and
And you're like, you sleep at least what, 6 to 8 hours a day. Your
right,
body is
Yeah.
like wrapped up in this, like,
right.
you know. So
Quality sleep.
I mean, if you could afford
See,
it.
this is like the linen thing. I get that it sounds outrageous, but it's like actually functional, right?
Right.
A lot of my stuff is like a Cartier ring or like
You guys, I have a good one. How do you guys feel about this? People talk about this a lot now, but like paying $5,000 for like a business class ticket to like, you know, somewhere that you're flying, like say you're flying to Europe, it's a 12-hour flight. Is it worth paying that much money for comfort that only lasts you like 12 hours? Like how would you, I mean, you know, if you, it's one of those things, I feel like if you could afford it and if you could drop that money, then, you know, you can pay for comfort. But if
Yeah.
you're, you know, I saw this thing,
But
this
if you
like,
can't afford it,
right,
then I
like,
wouldn't
yeah.
go and
So there,
get
I
one.
saw this meme. I don't know if you would call it a meme or whatever, but it's basically this girl that is at the airport with her. She has a Birkin and like a Rimowa bag or whatever, but she's flying in coach. And people are like,
Oh.
"How are you?" She's like, "I'd rather spend $10,000 on a Birkin bag that I can use forever than $10,000 on a first class seat that will be like 10 hours." So I
Yeah.
feel like, I know that's not girl math and not the point of our episode, but you know, it's kind of like in that case, I'd also take the Birkin.
Right. I mean, the whole point of like girl math, I think it's not necessarily for like the super luxury things that if you're not financially able to buy, you shouldn't buy it. But if it's for things like, yeah, it's still within your range, but you're trying to decide if I want to spend the money that I have now, do I want to spend it
Right.
on that or like other
Right.
things in your life?
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, something like your nails. It's not the most expensive thing in the world, but you're trying to choose on whether you want to um, spend your money on that or spend your money on something else, because you're going to spend the money on something most likely if you're going to buy
Right.
something. Or you could pocket your money for another day, which essentially is like that guideline of I have more money to spend later type thing.
Lisa, you could totally justify your Cartier ring by a price per wear, because
Yeah.
it's not like something that you have to match. You know, when you buy a bag, it's like, okay, does this bag go with this outfit, the color, the style, the, you know, wherever you're going, if it's too formal or whatever. But with a
Yeah.
ring,
Yeah.
you can literally wear that like every day. So I feel like
You
for
know,
that one, if you really wanted to stretch it, price per wear is the girl math
yeah.
Juan, if
method.
you're listening,
The
we are not
Trinity ring. The
financially.
Trinity ring.
The Trinity ring. Oh, Mon, how about you? Do you have something? Mon is like, she calls herself the Dream Crusher.
I don't like that nickname for you because it's so like not who you are.
But you know what? It's
But
so
I get
funny.
where it
Yeah,
comes from because you're like,
this year, what we were texting how long ago, like last week, and we are talking about how I need to like save money for this trip. So I asked Mon to be my Dream Crusher, and she's like, "Okay, just don't get mad at me if I
Don't
tell
hate
you
me.
not to buy
Like,
this."
do you really need that? So growing up, I was very like, I was very frugal and thrifty with my money. I said no to myself a lot growing up so that I could save money. And I thought saving money meant, happiness later on so I could buy stuff later. But that carried on with me for so long that, I just kept saying no to myself. It's not until like in the most recent years that I have money to spend. I'm not crazy with my money, but I'm allowed to buy nice things for
I
myself, whether or
wonder
not
what's happened in the last recent years that have
I met
changed
some
that.
really good friends who said, invest in yourself. You deserve it.
How
You deserve
ironic.
it.
Sorry.
So thanks to them,
Sorry.
I have bought a lot of things.
We're awful.
But they're all
Oh my
investments
gosh.
and made my life
Yourself, and you
better.
deserve
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I really think
I think so.
sometimes you deserve it. But I'd like
Right.
to tell this funny story. Last year, we were in San Diego, and we took our usual trip to the Fashion Valley Mall, and we went to the our usual Chanel store that we go to every time we go. And I really wanted to buy something. And Mon said to me, "Do you really need that?" And I said, "No, I don't." Put it back, and we walked away.
That tested our friendship for sure. I didn't see it in
She
the
was
moment.
right. Like, she's like, why? Why do I need, a Chanel wallet or whatever? It's just
Yeah.
because
That's why
Raylene was getting one, and I wanted one too.
that's why I call myself the dream crusher. I will make you question your financial decisions for the sake of yourself, not to, ruin anything of our friendship. But maybe you do need someone to just be like, hey,
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
pause. We'll
Yeah,
pause.
it's not, I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta
it's
pause.
good to pause. It's good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pause.
it's good to pause.
It's like, sit
Lisa.
on it. I don't want to completely crush your dreams, but
No, I was
let's
just
take
gonna
pause.
tell a story, but I won't tell it.
No, go. Wait, what? Sorry.
No, I was just
About
gonna
how
say
I didn't pause. How I don't pause.
Do you remember when we went there? It was when we were another year. We were in San Diego, and you found your dream bag, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Lisa, let's go get coffee real quick." I was
Yeah.
like trying to talk.
You're
I
like,
was
let's walk
kinda like,
away. Let's walk
yeah, let's
away. And
walk
I'm like,
away. I distinctly remember saying, "Mon, do you remember me saying like, let's go get coffee? Let's think
yeah.
about this." And you're like, "No, I'm kidding." I'm like, "Okay."
Someone
No,
could
I was
come in and buy it now.
Yeah, I was
which
like,
is
dude, it's gonna
true.
be
Dream
gone when I
bag.
come
Yeah,
back.
yeah, which is
It's-
very valid. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's another girl math thing.
It's funny. Okay, so it's funny that like you're like, oh, Lisa's on the show because she's in finance. Like, yeah, that's my job, but for my personal finances, I'm not.
You use that knowledge
Yeah.
to help with your decisions, I would like to think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's there.
okay.
She's there somewhere. She's there somewhere.
I
but,
save so much money, but then I'm not financially intelligent. I don't know if that's like the right thing to say. It's like I don't know how to make my money work for me or like get the best out of my money. So it's kind of like I'm just gonna keep pocketing this money. But now
Hey,
this
there's
year
nothing wrong with that.
started a Roth IRA. We're gonna do a high yield savings
Ooh.
account, grown up stuff.
Oh,
That's exciting.
yeah.
So,
I love
yeah.
that for you. So there's this guy I follow who is like a finance guy, kind of like Quentin, right?
Mhm.
So his name is Ramit, Ramit. And he wrote a book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And I've been following him for so long. Like, I was like, should I tell this? Back in the day, I used to have a finance blog, you guys.
Oh, wait, I feel
Back,
like you told us this, no?
back in the day. It was called
I don't think I ever knew this.
Yeah, and so I followed him like from way, way, way back then.
Mhm.
But I used to write about like my debt and like getting out
Mhm.
of debt, getting out of credit card debt, all this stuff. And anyways, I've been following him and a lot of his principles are like, what is your rich life? Because for a lot of
Mhm.
people, it's gonna look different for someone like immigrants, right? We tend to just say, oh, we have to save because we come
Mm.
from a place of like poverty or not knowing when we're gonna get the next paycheck. So a lot of kids of immigrants are kind of like you, Monica. You're just like, I'm gonna say no now so that I have
Mhm.
money for later. But now
Mhm.
you kind of find yourself struggling to spend maybe because
Mm-mm.
you don't know how to spend. All you know is how to
Right.
save.
Right.
But like what a lot of Ramit teaches is like find what actually rich means to you. Some people it's like luxury, some people it's travel, some people it's their family time, and then spending money heavily on that stuff, and that's you being rich. And
Right.
it's cutting costs where you don't really care about things. So like if you really care about time with your family, maybe cut costs on eating out or something like that. So there has
The
to be a
problem
balance.
is when you want all those.
Yeah, exactly. My rich life is everything.
Yes. Yeah. No, but I think that I'm starting to like get there too, where it's just like, when it comes to like the material things, I honestly feel like Lisa's gonna laugh and say, yeah, sure. But like I feel like I'm starting to like think differently about it, and it's not what it was to me before.
I believe that.
Let me cover this like bookshelf
Don't look at
Her
my bag.
display.
that I have here. But
I believe
yeah,
you though,
it's
because
Yeah.
it's just like I think it's like, not to poke fun, but I think it has to do with like getting older and realizing what's more important and
right.
things like that. So I think like I'm at that place where it's just like I don't need all that.
Yeah. I think I kind of went backwards where I don't need that like growing up. And then all of a sudden, ooh, I
I
have the
need it
money. I
now.
can buy it now.
Yeah.
Now I can buy it.
It's a
Yes.
slippery slope.
Mhm.
So I have to tell myself to pause sometimes. But
Yeah,
retail therapy is a thing.
totally.
Feels good.
But
What do they call
also
that?
so is real therapy.
No, yeah.
Do that
Very
too.
true. All right, you guys. Well, that's all that we have for this episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I know we're talking about money. It's a little of a touchy subject, but hopefully we made it fun and interesting for you.
Yes. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give this episode a like or consider subscribing. It really helps out our channel. If you've listened to the end of this episode, comment or DM us on Instagram, post or leave us a flying away money emoji or any
credit card.
a credit card, a handbag, a
Or
airplane
the one where
ticket.
like the dollar sign is like
Oh
you know?
yeah.
Or the person, isn't there one where the person has like money eyes or
Oh,
something?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
That's the one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can
Oh,
tell.
sorry. I can't see because I'm
If you're
blocking
watching
it.
this on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about.
Don't forget to follow, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Check us out there. Chat with us and ask us any questions at all. Yeah.
Ask us your money questions. I want to be
Yeah.
Quentin.
Yeah.
We'll bring back Lisa for another
I'll be
episode.
Quentin.
Yep.
We want to obviously thank Lisa for joining us on this special episode.
Thank you,
We always love
Lisa.
having you on here.
Yep.
I love
always.
being here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for your time, and we'll probably invite you back. I'm sorry, we're just
I'm
gonna
sure.
keep bringing you back on here.
If you don't invite me, I'm still gonna be here. I'm just gonna be logged into the room,
She's like, hi.
waiting for you guys.
She just
I'll be
pops up.
recording today.
What are we talking about? I see that you have your Instagram handle on there. You can follow Lisa on her Instagram. Her and Juan have a podcast that they're gonna gear up. We'll have that link down below whenever they do
When it's
go
there.
live. Because it's still up, right? Like the
Oh yeah,
The
Average
Average
Magic
Magic.
is still up. Yeah.
yeah, we'll link their Average Magic podcast if you want to check it out before they switch content.
But our last episode of Average Magic will be coming out soon, hopefully. And that will be one of how to parent at Disneyland, our favorite tips and tricks
Wow.
as a family at Disneyland. And then hopefully we could get started on the average parents side of things. But yeah,
Woohoo. Excited,
tuned.
excited.
I can't even take care of myself at Disneyland, let alone 2 small children. So that will be a good one.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Till next time.
Stay OA.
in the best way.
Bye.